Okay, welcome to lecture number 34-35. In today's lecture, we will be discussing about properties of Z transform, right? So, like we discussed properties of Fourier transform, Fourier series, discrete time Fourier series, Laplace transform. Similarly, we will also be discussing about properties of Z transform. So, the first property is uh, linearity, right? So what does linearity says? Number one property is linearity. Linearity says, for example, if we have a signal x1 of n, and if its Fourier z transform is x of z, right, and x1 of z, for example, and if we have second signal x2 of n, and if its z transform is x2 of z, then for example, if there is another signal x3 of n, which is the sum of these two signals x1 of n plus x2 of n times some arbitrary coefficient, and if you find the z transform of this signal, then the output must be x3 of z, which must be equal to a x1 of z plus b x2 of z, right? So for example, if the region of convergence ROC of this is R, and ROC of this is, for example, this is R1, this is R2, then ROC for the this signal must be, we know this must be intersection point of both signals. We have proved this property in our previous classes when we were discussing about Z transform and its definition, right? So first property is that if you have one signal in time domain, and if you know its Z transform, and if there is another signal and you know also Z transform of that signal too, then you, if there is another signal in time domain which is sum of these two signals, then you don't need to compute this Z transform separately. You just add their Z transformed output and you get the answer, right? So the second property is time shift, right? The second property is time shift. So what does time shift say? For example, if we have a signal x of n, and if its z transform is x of z, then if we have signal shifted n naught units, then what must be its z transform signal, right? So by definition we know that x of z is equal to summation n from minus infinity to infinity x of n z power minus n, right? But now we have a signal which is shifted n naught units, so our x of z must become uh, summation n from minus infinity to infinity x of n minus n naught z power minus n, right? We want to reduce this term to n, or for example a single variable, so let's say m is equal to n minus n naught, then x of z becomes uh, m from minus infinity to infinity, because if you put infinity here, then you get again infinity minus n naught is again infinity, and infinity uh, n naught plus infinity is also infinity. So this is like this, x of m z power. Now from here n must be equal to m plus n naught, right? So overall we get m plus n naught. Let's solve it further, then our x of z become m from minus infinity to infinity x of m z power minus m power, because this minus is multiplied to m as well and n as well, so minus n naught. So if you know that, now this our this term is, what is this term? This is x of z, right? And times z minus z naught. So we can say, so if x of n has z transformed x of z, then if we have a shifted signal x of n minus n naught, then our z must also be z power minus n naught x of z, right? So one thing is ROC, if the ROC of this signal was R, then ROC of this signal must also be R, but we have to be sure about the origin, right? If our signal is greater than 0, if our signal is n greater than 0, then there is no change in origin. But if it is less than 0, then we have to take care of the origin, because sometimes we know that in bounded sequences, sometimes we have the region of convergence is complete entire z plane except infinity or 0. So if signal is shifted that much that it crosses the origin, then our limit also changes. So the region of convergence also changes, right? So the third property is scaling in z domain, right? This is very important. Scaling in z domain. So there are possibly three scalings. Number one is, for example, we have a shift, for example, j omega naught n with x of n, right? The second shift may be z naught, right? Uh, z naught power n x of n, and third may be a power n x of n, right? So what we say is, for example, if we have a x of n signal and its z transform is x of z, then what would happen when we do these three uh, when signal is multiplied with a frequency component like this one, or a z naught shift, or a alpha power n shift, then what would happen? So let us see. We know that by definition x of n is equal to summation n from minus infinity to infinity, I rather write z transform of x n is equal to x of n z power minus n. Now this time our signal is multiplied with e to the power j omega naught. So I multiply e to the power j omega naught on both sides, e to the power capital J omega naught, e to the power capital J omega naught. So what we get here is summation n from minus infinity to infinity x of n e to the power minus j omega times z whole power minus n. Can I write these two terms like this thing, right? So if you now notice that now our z is j omega naught, okay? So now our z become this something like this. So we can say that now if we have x of n is equal, if x of n has z transform x of z, then e to the power j omega naught n times x of n has z transform x of e to the power minus j omega naught z, right? So, and what if the region of convergence of ROC of this signal, if ROC of this signal is R, then there is no change in ROC signal of this, except the signal is rotated, right, clockwise. The signal is rotated clockwise. How much units? Sigma naught units, right? So if we have a ROC like this one, a first signal, then what does our this time frequency shift does is it just rotate our spectrum, right? Maybe clockwise, maybe anti-clockwise, depend on the, no, strictly clockwise, right? So this signal does nothing but rotate the ROC. So there is no change in ROC at all, right? The second variation of this scaling is, what if Z naught power n is multiplied with x of n? So Z transform of this signal must be n from minus infinity to infinity. Now instead of just only x of n, we have an additional term as well as input, right? And Z power minus n. So this must be equal to n from minus infinity to infinity x of n. Now can I write this Z power Z whole power minus n, right? So we can conclude that if x of n has Z transform signal x of z, then Z power n x of n has uh, spectrum Z or Z naught, right? Because you can write it as Z upon Z naught, right? This signal. What, for example, ROC of this signal is R, then ROC of this signal must be, how the ROC must be changed. Now you can see, for example, if we have a, for example, if we had a pole in x of z, for example, if we have pole at z naught, we had pole of signal at z naught. Now because now this z naught, what would this z naught do? This would cancel the pole, right? So you have to be very careful. So the region of convergence must be written in this way. Uh, the region of convergence is z naught times r, right? So for example, if we have pole at z naught, then this z naught multiplied with the pole, and then pole may be cancelled out, right? So ROC is z times r. Now the last variation of this scaling is a power n x of n, right? Z transform of a power n x of n, that is equal to summation n from minus infinity to infinity alpha power n x of n. This is our input, and z power minus n. So this must be equal to n from minus infinity to infinity x of n alpha inverse z whole power minus n. And we can conclude from here that if we have x of n, if its z transform is x of z, then alpha power n x of n is z transform x of z over a, right? And the region of convergence, what must be the region of convergence? AR, right? If the region of convergence ROC of this is R. So let's see. So we have scaled version of our ROC, right? The fourth property in the list is third property, yes. So the fourth property is time reversal. So if we have x of n and its z transform is x of z, then if we have x of minus n, what must be its spectrum, right? So let us see. For example, if we have by definition z transform of x of minus n has to be by definition n from minus infinity to infinity x of minus n z power minus n, right? Now for example, if we assume m is equal to minus n, then what we get is uh, n from minus infinity, m from minus infinity to infinity x of m z power positive m, right? In other words, we can say that we can rewrite this equation as m from minus infinity to infinity x of m z power minus 1 whole power minus n. So what is this? This is x of z inverse, right? We can say that if x of z has x of n has z transform x of z, then x of minus has z transform x of z inverse or x of 1 over z. So what do you think, what would happen to our ROC? The ROC must be inverted, right? So if ROC of this signal is R, then ROC of this signal must be 1 by R, right? Okay. So the next property is, sometimes it is called interpolation, right? Interpolation, right? So the next property in the list is, this is number 5th, right? Time expansion. Time expansion, right? So for example, if we have a signal, let us see first of all what do you mean by that. For example, if we have a signal x of n, right, and if we have another signal x of n by k, now k may be any value. Let's assume k equal to 3, and for example, if we have a signal x of n is 1, 2, 3, and its origin is at 1, right? So let us see what is x of nk. So x of now the value of k is, for example, 1 by 3, right? So n divided by 3, how does this signal must look like? So for example, if n is equal to 0, then what we get is 0 by 3 is equal to 0, right? uh, if n is equal to 1, then we get 1 by 3, so this signal must be 0 again. What about n equal to 2? 2 by 3, we know the discrete time signal do not exist on and these rational numbers, right? Not exactly rational but decimal numbers, right? So this is again 0. What about n equal to 3? It's 3 by 3, which is equal to x of 1, and x of 1 is 2, right? And what about x of n equal to 4? 4 by 3, it's again 0. X of 5 by 3, it's again 0. X of 6 by 3, that is equal to x of 2, and x of 2 has value 3, right? So our x of n by 3 is equal to 1, then we have 2 0, then 2, we have 2 0 and 3, right? Now you can see that this signal, if x of n is multiplied with k constant, and then we get a value. For example, when k is 0, we got a value, right, from here. And when k, now next, when k is 3, n is 1, what we get is 3 times 1, right? So we have 2 here, and we have, so what does this signal do in frequency domain? We will see in a while that this signal gets smoother and smoother, right? We call it upsampler, right? We are increasing the sample. This is called upsampler, right? So this is the time expansion. So what our property says, for example, if we have signal x of n, and if it is its spectrum is x of z, then what happen when we have x of n by k? So what would happen to our z transform signal? So by definition, let's see, for example, x of n by k must be equal to summation n from minus infinity to infinity x of n by k z power minus n, right? Now let's assume, let our m is equal to n by k, right? Then our n becomes mk. So substitute the values, we get m from minus infinity to infinity x of m z power minus mk, right? Can we rewrite this equation as m from minus infinity to infinity, x of m z power uh, minus k whole power I made a mistake. No. So z power k power minus m. So we can say if x of n has z transform x of z, then x of n by k has z transform x of z power k, right? In other words, if x of nk, then our z transform must be x of z power 1 by k, right? What about ROC? If the ROC of our original signal is R, then ROC of this signal must be R power 1 by k, right? So this is our time expansion, right? You can see ROC is 1 by k. So what about conjugate property? We are coming to conjugate property in a while. But first let's discuss convolution, and this property must be of number 6. Come on, sometimes number 6, convolution. Now if you remember, we said earlier that convolution in time domain is equal to multiplication in frequency domain. So what does this mean? For example, if we have a signal x of n, and if its frequency its z transform is x of z, and we have another signal h of n, and if its uh, z transformed signal is x of z, then if these two signals are convolved in time domain, in frequency domain their spectrum is multiplied. So the convolution in time domain is equal to multiplication in frequency domain. So we can say, for example, if we wish to compute y of z, then y of z must be equal to n from minus infinity to infinity, y of n z power minus n, right? So we know that y of n is equal to x of n convolved with h of n, and by definition this must be equal to k from minus infinity to infinity x of k h of n minus k, right? Now we replace this value in y of n, then what we get is n from minus infinity to infinity, again another summation, k from minus infinity to infinity x of k h of n minus k z power minus n, right? Now this is our y of n equivalent expression. Now solving it further, for example, you can see that these are the terms which involve n sample, right? So we can rearrange the summation, and what we get is k from minus infinity to infinity x of k summation n from minus infinity to infinity h of n minus k z power minus n, right? Now you can see, if you compare this with x of n minus n naught, then what is the spectrum of x of n minus n naught? That is equal to z power minus n naught x of n, right? So can we conclude from here that this this whole term this this whole term must be equal to uh, h of z times z power minus k, right? Right, this is z transform of shifting property. If you don't remember, you can go in our this video in initial minutes, and you can see this property is proved. So what our summation is reduced is from k from minus infinity to infinity x of k z power minus k times h of z, right? Now you can see our summation is, our running variable is k, and this h of z is a coefficient, so we take this out, and what we are left with is x of k z power minus k. And what is this? This is equal to x of z. You can see h of z, right? So, and we know that convolution is commutative, then x of z multiplied with h of z is equal to h of z multiplied with x of z. Now we proved that convolution in time domain, and if you take z transform, that is multiplication in frequency domain or z domain. What about ROC? Well, ROC is R1 intersection R2, at least, right? At least intersection. Okay. So the next property in the list is a first difference, right? So the list is, I think it is now seventh property. Uh, first difference. What does first difference say? For example, if we have, this is called first difference, and we know the, for example, if the z transform of this signal is x of z, then what must be the z transform of this signal? You can see this, there is a shift of 1, right? N naught is now 1. If you remember, then x of n minus n naught has z transform z power minus n naught x of z, and now n naught is 1, so this must be equal to z power minus 1 x of z, right? So taking x of z is common, right? Then what we get is x of z minus, if I take this common, so our resultant is x of z 1 minus z inverse, right? So what about ROC? ROC must be R and Z must be greater than 0, right? So because we got a pole here at Z is equal to 1, then we have to make sure that Z must be greater than 1 at least, because we know that ROC must not include the pole, right? Okay, so now the next property is accumulation. This is property number 8, accumulation. What does accumulation say? For example, if we have signal n from minus infinity to, for example, n, capital N, if you say, let's change the running variable. For example, if I say k from minus infinity to n and x of k, right? So what must be the Z transform signal? Now we can use a relation that we can write this equation as x of n plus x of n, right? The previous output plus the current input which is n. If we are at n time, then all previous our inputs must be y of n minus 1, then time plus current input. So if I can rewrite this as y of n minus 1 is equal to x of n, right? So taking z transform, what we end up is y of z minus z inverse y of z is equal to x of z. Now taking y of z is common, what we left with is 1 over z x of z, right? Then our y of z must be equal to x of z times 1 over z inverse, right? Okay. So the next property in the list is differentiation in z domain, right? This must be, I don't know, for example, if I write 9, differentiation in z domain. So what does that mean is, for example, if we have x of z, by definition that is equal to summation n from minus infinity to infinity x of n z power minus n, right? So what we if we derivate this signal with d by dz on both sides, then what we get is d by dz of x of z must be equal to summation n from minus infinity to infinity. If you derivate this signal, then what you get? Minus n x power n z power minus n minus 1, right? If you remember, if we have x power n, then its derivative is n time x of n minus 1, right? So in other words, we can say, if you see here, we can rewrite this equation is n from minus infinity to infinity. If I take minus outside, right, or if I multiply minus on both sides, then minus d by dz x of z, right, is equal to n x of n z power minus n times z inverse. And if you take this z to this side, then what we get is minus z d by dz x of z is equal to summation n from minus infinity to infinity n x of n z power minus n. Now you can see this is our input signal. So we can conclude from here that if x of n has z transformation x of z, then n x of n is equal to minus z d by dz of x of z, right? Now the last property that we left earlier is, as it states, is, for example, if we have x of n, then if its z transform is x of z, and if we have conjugate of x of n, then its z transform must be this signal, right? So that's it. These are the possible properties of z transform. And now there is another topic that you must now know the some of the known sequences. For example, if we have delta n in time domain, it's transformed as 1. We did it in our classes. So if we have u of n, then it's z transform is 1 upon 1 minus z inverse, and z is greater than or equal to 1. And if it is u of, so you must know all these sequences, or you must have a table with you. For example, if someone asks you compute the uh, z transform of, for example, cos 300 n u of n, then you can compare here, right? So it is already done here, so you don't need to compute by definition. All you need is just write x of z is equal to 1 minus uh, cos 300 times z inverse, right? 1 minus cos 300 z inverse upon, and so on, 1 minus 2 cos uh, omega naught is 300, so 300 z inverse plus z square, right? And it's must be greater than 1, right? Region of conversion. So if you have this table with you, then you can save a lot of effort, right? So that makes your life easier. Okay, so that's it. This is enough for now. Now our next topic for next discussion is rational functions, right? Rational functions in our Z transform. So rational function of Z transform must be something like this. It must have a numerator of Z times denominator of z, right? So for example, okay, so the values at which n of z is 0 are called zeros of the systems, right? Zeros of the system of the system. The values on which dz of 0, d of z is 0, these are called poles of the system. Poles of the system, right? We have to make sure that these poles, right, poles on which x of z must be infinite, right? If you have anything divided by 0 is infinity, so these pole must not include, these pole must not be included in ROC, right? If poles are included in ROC, then means you are mistaking something, because ROC means region of convergence. But if a pole is included in that, then pole is in infinity, and infinity is not convergent, it's divergent, right? So poles need not to be included in the ROC. So we have to make sure. For example, if we have a system, uh, for example, uh, we have a system y of n minus y of n minus 1 plus y of n minus 2, that is equal to x of n. Then we can say, for example, if we take the z transform of this signal, then what we end up is z power minus n y of z plus z power minus 2 y of z x of z, right? Taking z transform, and if you take y of z as common, then what you left with is plus z power minus 2 equal to x of z, right? So y of z over x of z is equal to 1 upon 1 minus z inverse plus z square. So this is called h of z, right? What is h of z? H of z is this is called transfer function as well, right? What does transfer function means? Transfer function means if we pass, let me figure for example, if we have an LTI system, let me draw it again. I want a rectangle. If we have a system, LTI system strictly, if its impulse response is h of n, if we give input, then at output what we receive is y of n, that is equal to x of n convolved with h of n. In z domain, if we, its equivalent is x of z. For h of z, its equivalent is h of z, right? And then y of z is, if convolution in time domain, then multiplication in z domain, right? If you wish to compute the h of z, then h of z must be equal to y of z by x of z. So in other words, we can say this is the transformation that is applied on the input, right, to get the desired output. So whatever transformation is done on the input signal, that is called transfer function in z domain, right? Transfer function in z domain, right? We can say transfer function is a ratio of output to input, right, in z transform. Okay, so that's it. We are going to end here our session.